Simonson, and this is week 8 of our PowerPoints. I'm so excited about this series. I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. We are going to be going through, September 19th or something like that, with PowerPoints, points of interest as they relate to lifestyle as medicine. In other words, putting ourselves in a position to control our own health by making lifestyle choices. And today we're going to talk about the power of love and laughter. So how did I choose that? Well, what we're doing is we are using my book, Aging Powerfully. This word powerfully is an acronym, and we've already covered each of those letters up to this LL, laughter and love and laughter actually. And I'm going to end up making this a two-parter because I'm going to, and I read from my book, it's, I think, more effective and more efficient than coming up with new words when these words were perfectly good. And next week, we're going to be talking about love in a different way. Well, you'll hear it's going to be interesting. But let me quote you a couple of things first. Live in the sunshine, swim in the sea, drink in the wild air. That was Ralph Waldo Emerson, basically saying, dive in, people, make your life great. And spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Isn't that beautiful? That was Mother Teresa. J.D. Salinger, the author of Catcher in the Rye, once wrote, "The fact is always obvious much too late, but the most singular difference between happiness and joy is that happiness is solid, joy is liquid." What does that mean? Well, joy is stronger and less common feeling than is a less common feeling among diverse individuals than happiness. Rather than being based in earthly experiences and material objects like happiness, joy is based on spiritual experiences, caring for others, gratitude, and thankfulness. It is a inward peace and contentment rather than outward expression of elation. It's lasting and it's based on inward circumstances. Joy warms a person's heart while happiness merely pleases. Happiness brings pleasure, but joy brings true contentment to our hearts. Both are necessary and both are valuable. The title of this book, Aging Powerfully, Find Vibrant Health, Balance, and Joy, implies a promise. The lifestyle adaptations introduced in the book have been proven to bring about vibrant health and life balancing, both of which I have personally experienced. The goal of this chapter is to introduce ideas and activities that inspire joy. The secret of a good life may be as simple as one word: joy. When we feel happy and loving, our bodies are flooded with endorphins, our immune system is strengthened, our emotional lives are free of stress and worry, and our relationships improve. The love I'm referring to in this chapter is a type you get when you love yourself, your life, and others. This is different and distinct from the love and the strength that we get from others, as I discuss it in chapter number 12. The power of others. And we've talked about others in a previous PowerPoints presentation. It's the feeling that comes from within and that we can then project out to others. This is the love, along with laughter, happiness, and joy, that we create in our own lives and then spread to others. One of the most dramatic examples of the power of these positive emotions is spotlighted by Kelly Turner, PhD, in Radical Remission, Surviving Cancer Against All Odds. You may have heard me speak about her in other PowerPoint presentations because I talk about her throughout my book. Dr. Turner is a researcher and physiotherapist specializing in integrative oncology. While working with cancer patients, she became intrigued by the instances of complete recovery in spite of dire circumstances and terminal diagnoses. She invested several years in research, traveling the world, interviewing more than 1,000 recovered patients, as well as various healers, and investigating their remarkable recoveries, which she labeled radical remissions. This research later became her PhD dissertation. As I noted earlier, she wrote her book from these documented stories of survival, and while doing so, she noted 9 behaviors that all of these patients adopted as part of her personal or their personal therapeutic arsenal. Dr. Turner calls laughter, happiness, joy, and love positive emotions, noting that there is an immediate and powerful connection between the mind and the body, and that our emotions create instant bursts of hormones in our brains that tell our bodies what to do. As we've discussed before, negative emotions cause a fight or flight response. However, when we feel joy and love, our hormones tell our body to spend time repairing broken cells, digesting food, healing infections. We're either doing one or the other, not both. Therefore, to turn on the health-seeking mode, we must turn off the fight or flight mode by making a conscious decision and conscious effort to change our thinking. In her book, Dr. Turner writes, you can even escalate this process by purposely trying to feel any number of positive emotions, especially love, joy, and happiness. When we feel these emotions, the glands in our body release surges of healing hormones into our bloodstream, including serotonin, relaxin, oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins, which instantly communicate with all the cells in our body, telling them such things as lower blood pressure, heart rate, and cortisol, meaning stress hormone, improve blood circulation, deepen our breath, which brings about more oxygen to each cell, digest our food more slowly, which helps us absorb the nutrients better, increase white and red blood cell activity, which helps the immune system, increase natural killer cell activity, which helps the immune system fight cancer, clear out any infection, and scan for cancer and remove any cancer cells. All of these amazing physical changes have been documented in clinical studies. Similar studies have shown that people who are battling an illness with an overall positive attitude live significantly longer than those people who are pessimistic. In short, happy people live longer. Making love, joy, happiness, and laughter a habit. While reading the stories of Dr. Turner's triumphant patients, it became clear that they saw happiness as a daily habit, like brushing and flossing. They cultivated the ability to fine-tune and practice this daily in order to reap the desired benefits. They believed that we could all experience consistent joy in our lives as long as we practice feeling happy on a daily basis. This at times may mean purposely turning off feelings of fear, discontent, and anger, and replacing them with some joy, even if it's only for a few minutes. What are some of the activities that others have recommended or Dr. Turner recommends? In other words, the activities to increase laughter, joy, and love. They include expressing gratitude daily, consciously practicing this on a daily basis. Smile and laugh freely. Dwell on the positive and don't take yourself too seriously. Let forgiveness free you. Reclaim the peaceful life that lets your heart sing again. Support and serve others. When we give of ourselves in volunteer work, we feel especially fulfilled, energized, and good inside. Watch a funny movie, YouTube video, or animal escapade video, or anything that makes us laugh. Take an energetic or otherwise enjoyable class such as yoga, Tai Chi, Zumba. Spend time with children, even simply watching them play. Their zeal for life can be contagious. Frequent nature and let it astound you. Appreciate the birds and their activities. Take in the glory of the surroundings. Expand to a panoramic view, and then fixate and fix your gaze on the glory of trees or in an individual bush. Take time to awaken with the sunrise and end the day with the sunset. Drink it in. Create a list of what makes you laugh and check these things off regularly. Make a date with play, any kind, that you keep at least once or twice a day. Offer the assistance and love that you have to others. Join and participate in positive, upbeat support groups. Commit to remaining mindful in all that we do. Chew slowly and carefully taste our food. Listen well and be present when others are speaking. Be present while doing even minor or repetitive tasks. Practice reframing situations in order to see the fun, funny, and beneficial aspects of them. That word reframing has become one of the favorite in my vocabulary, because I know, even from my own experience, I can catch myself, and you're going to hear in just a few minutes I'm going to say necessity of paying enough attention and catching ourselves before we go down a dark hole of emotion, and why it's important to reframe and switch that beyond just, let's say, momentary reversal. What follows may be a bit technical, but it is a game-changing concept. In his book, Zen and the Art of Happiness, one of my favorite little books, Mr. Chris Prentice points out that a key part of our body's incredible communication system involves our cell receptors. Every cell in the body has hundreds of thousands of receptors on its face, and each cell has perhaps 70 different types of receptors. In the early 1970s, Candace Pert, PhD, was the first scientist to prove the existence of these receptors with her discovery of the opiate receptor. I was doing some research on her today, some additional research this morning, and I found out something that I didn't know, because I had read somewhere that she had earned a Nobel Prize, and I wanted to confirm that, and this is what happened. She was a post-grad. She was the one who proved that there are receptors, again, coming up with the opiate receptor, and then it opened up that world to everybody. They started finding receptors for any given element, and she did quite a bit of work on it. But the lead scientist of her lab took credit for it, and he got the Nobel Prize, and she wasn't even mentioned, nor were any of the co-workers in that lab. And she filed well, I'm not going to say a claim. What would that be called? Oh, I'm losing my words. Anyway, she put in something to refute that. And one of the things she said, this was 1976, or yeah, it was 1976 when this happened, and claimed at that time that she believed it had to do with her being a woman. And that's very possible. In the 1970s, a woman scientist coming up with something that's groundbreaking. Anyway, but she's gotten a lot of credit since then. She passed in 2013, I believe. Anyway, he points out that in her book, The Molecules of Emotion, I have that on its way to me, and I've just downloaded it or uploaded it into my Audible. I want to know more about her. She's fascinating. Dr. Pert says that the life of a cell What it is up to any moment is determined by which receptors are on its surface and whether or not those receptors are occupied by ligands, a small molecule that binds itself to a cell receptor. Most of these ligands are peptides, or information molecules that communicate across systems such as neurological, gastrointestinal, and even the immune system. These peptides are produced in the hypothalamus, a gland in the center of the brain, and primarily determined by what we're feeling and thinking. Now, I'm going to say this again. So you've got cells, they have receptors, peptides dock on them, and these peptides are produced in the hypothalamus, in the center of the brain, primarily determined by what we feel and think. The hypothalamus produces peptides that duplicate experience from anger, hate, sadness, frustration, and depression to joy, enthusiasm, contentment, and happiness. These peptides are channeled throughout every cell in our body, dock onto the cells, create minute physiological phenomena that can translate to large changes in behavior, physical activity, and even mood. In his film, What the Bleep Do We Know?, Dr. Joseph Dispenza explains that when a new cell is produced, it contains more receptors for whatever peptide it received that caused it to split. If the cell receives peptides produced by depression, a new cell will have more receptors for depression and few receptors for feel-good peptides. Given what we know about peptides, receptors, and the role of emotions and thoughts, you can see that the chain of events that takes place as new cells are created are according to what you think and what you feel. When I read that, and I read this a long time ago, and there are times I remember and times I forget. And what I mean by that is sometimes think of the last time you were anxious about something or angry about something or disappointed about something, and you kind of let it go on and on. I don't know about you, but I can ruminate, and I can really get into the drama of a thing in my head, that little hamster wheel thing. And I have to, from time to time, actually stop that, use the word reframe, find a way to think differently about that, because I go right back to this concept. This is science. This isn't something that is speculation. It's science that has been proven that what we think, and well, let me back up. That's why Dr. Pert coined the phrase mind body, not mind body, but one word, mind body, that our bodies are so connected to our mind and our mind so connected to our body that she's made one word out of it, because I'll read this. The takeaway from this is that the more you engage in any type of emotion or behavior, the greater your desire for it will become. Laughter, love, happiness, and joy. These emotions are habitual, controllable, and a fundamental part of aging powerfully. What great news this is. So this is what I'm going to put out there for today. Those of you who have listened to the PowerPoints before know that for about 20, 25 minutes, I do a presentation, but then when I finish, there is a group of people who are with me live who then engage with me and I with them in conversation about what was presented or anything else that we've spoken about. This is number 8. And I want to tell you that number 9, PowerPoint week number 9, is going to be an extension of this, because next week I'm going to go back to the word love and introduce a concept that was coined by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, and she wrote a book, Love 2.0. Last week, I even had a conversation with our group about this, the live group that is on Zoom, waiting to continue our conversation. And it's, to me, and I first heard this spoken of by a neurobiologist. To me, it's groundbreaking in terms of what love can be. We, in our effort to give love its due and its ultimate power, can sometimes put it in a box of meaning. And if I say I love you, I better love you with all my heart. You better be someone in my life that I will give the world to, your spouse, your child, a very best friend, your relative, etc. She, in Love 2.0, is introducing love in another way, micro moments of connectivity that can do exactly physiologically what love on the grand scale can do for us, but it can do it all day, every day with everybody. And it has helped me understand that we can, not blithely and not unemotionally, feel love for someone that we have just met and that we will never see again. And we'll talk about this. As a matter of fact, next week's subject is going to be Love 2.0 and LKM and vagal tone, excuse me. So we're going to talk about Love 2.0, LKM, what's that? Loving kindness meditation, and vagal tone. It's going to be a good one, and tie it together with another book that I read. And that book proves that what we think will affect our body. From someone who has been, me, 5 years in the lifestyle as medical space, a health coach with a lifestyle medical practice run by Dr. Wayne Dysinger, who is one of the founding members of the College of Lifestyle Medicine and spent 10 years with preventative medicine before that as president here in Loma Linda, California. I've seen so much of what the pillars of lifestyle medicine can do to turn a life around physically. Those pillars being whole food, plant-based, or as close to someone can get. Movement, making sure we're moving daily. Community, we've talked about that. Rest and relaxation, and stress management, we've talked about that. But this takes it beyond in terms of the weight and importance of it. This takes it beyond what I have, I'll say, sunk my teeth into. And now I'm understanding that, and this fits into lifestyle as medicine, but I'm understanding that we can go much deeper, that physiologically, this Dr. Fredrickson is a PhD, has her own lab, and studies the science of emotion. We can take these feelings and attribute wellness, recovery, and longevity to these kinds of emotions in our life. Isn't that fascinating? Doesn't that make you feel that we have so much to do with staying well beyond what maybe we realized we did, and that we don't have to depend on others to take care of us? Because in the allopathic world, in doctoring as doctors were trained, this isn't part of their training. That's all I have to say. Okay, can't wait to get to our group today. If you'd like to be part of it, just write me at agingpowerfully@gmail.com, agingpowerfully@gmail.com, and just say you want the PowerPoints invitation. I'll send it to you, and you're able to come on our Zoom and wait in the background while I chatter, and then we'll hit the road and run with it. It's about an hour total between what I'm doing now and the end of our conversations, even though a lot of times we keep chattering on a bit. Okay, have a great day. I know I'm going to. Bye-bye.